Hey, ESPN, I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Crack.com.
And I'm Miles, a former lobbyist that loves soccer and gets very nervous when I'm pulled over by the police.
And we're the hosts of The Daily Zeitgeist, a daily comedic news podcast that covers politics, pop culture, and we're both big sports fans. I'm actually named after my grandfather, legendary NBA coach Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Oh, well, I'm named after Miles Davis, a legendary heroin addict who is not my grandfather.
It's not a competition. So search The Daily Zeitgeist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts, or give it away for free.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death.
Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What do?
We get the people what they want.
Jalen, I'm not sure the people got what they wanted when it comes to the slam dunk participants in this NBA All-Star Weekend. I have two questions. My first question is, who is Derrick Jones Jr.?
I don't know, sir.
Well, we all know now, right? But I'd be lying if I said 24 hours ago, before he was announced as one of the participants, that I knew who Derrick Jones Jr. was. He has played 11 more minutes of NBA basketball than I have. He's had 11 minutes played. Should he be allowed to participate in the dunk contest?
It shows why the contest is dying. And to answer your question, should Derrick Jones Jr. be allowed to participate, he wouldn't have the opportunity if others wanted to. It's almost like the NFL Pro Bowl. They have to reach out to 130 people to get 80 plus to participate. There are players that I see that I followed in the NFL because I'm a huge fan. I'm like, you made the Pro Bowl? And then I realized, like, oh, okay, you could be the 10,000th alternate because nobody really wants to go. Same thing here. If Zach LaVine wanted to participate, he wouldn't have had a spot.
That's my second question. Is Zach LaVine ducking Aaron Gordon?
He's not ducking.
Yes, he is.
You can't duck somebody you already beat.
But he didn't. He didn't beat him last year. Nope. Anyone who watched that dunk contest knows that Aaron Gordon was the better dunker that day.
Well, we can agree to disagree. I don't think that you can duck somebody that you already beat. And also, he's at a unique point of his career where you can start to be defined as a dunker versus a basketball player. See Terrence Ross. It took him a second to actually establish himself as a rotation player that they can rely on, that can get a new contract. That's tricky when you're not an all-star caliber player that wins the dunk contest like Nate Robinson, who was terrific as a small player, Spud Webb. It's different for those guys than it is for like a Blake Griffin, who is an all-star caliber player, then started in the all-star game, and that all of a sudden exploded into commercial opportunities.
It just, when you say the dunk contest is dying, I kind of disagree. I thought last year's dunk contest was one of the best performances of the dunk contest, that probably top 5 that I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And I had high expectations for this year, mainly because I wanted an Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine rematch. And now I've got Aaron Gordon, DeAndre Jordan, who's got the big man problem, Glenn Robinson III, Derrick Jones Jr. Underwhelming.
Well, what makes it underwhelming is my initial point, is that one of those guys is going to be playing in the game on Sunday. So how do you create name recognition for a dunk contest when the marquee players are actually playing on Sunday? That's the issue that the dunk contest clearly is having.
DeAndre Jordan and his Clippers face the Warriors for the third time this year.
And he's like, I get to play in the game on Sunday. I do whatever y'all need. Whatever y'all need.
Skills competition.
Whatever y'all need.
Look, you want me to host
all
the dinner,
of the interviews,
the tech conference, whatever it is.
Paying for every dinner, whatever y'all need.
Well, DeAndre and his Clippers lost to the Warriors for the third time. The third time they looked terrible playing the Warriors. But nothing else matters from this game than the Mo Spates dunk attempt. What did that dunk attempt tell you?
Mo Spates, like a lot of athletes, you can tell how their weight fluctuates is going to dictate how they perform.
Oh!
And if you look at his body build, you can clearly see that fluctuation happening during the season. Like, you see some players actually gain weight during the year. And during the NBA Finals a couple of years ago, he gets a breakaway dunk, and he misses it. And you realize that was the last time he played in that series. That's what it reminded me of a player who really doesn't have lift, that must be in optimal shape for his body type to even be able to dunk. And also, he felt like he was going to get some contact because he's not used to dunking on people.
It kind of felt like he wanted to cock back and get fouled and then go to the line and be like, yeah, I would have dunked that on him if he didn't foul me. That's kind of what he was going for. That's what I would have been doing if I was him. Simple question for Anderson Varejao. Do you ever think about when you're out of here? The Warriors have waived the journeyman big man.
Salute to Varejao, because when he got signed by the Warriors, I said on this program, he's not an NBA player anymore.
He didn't look like it whenever he played either.
And so he was a guy that ended up parlaying that into another year and a half. And hindsight can always be 20/20. Here's the most important thing for him. You go back to Cleveland and you get you a ring now. Because you was a part of that team beginning part of the year. And I know you couldn't go in the Golden State Warriors locker room with the Cavs ring on, but now you can go get your ring. I'm putting that on wax. Don't be surprised that he now goes to Cleveland, where he played multiple years, and gets a championship ring.
I would love. LeBron's like, this is the playmaker I was talking about the whole time. We're not talking about Carmelo. We're not talking about Darren Williams. We needed Anderson Varejao to make those plays for us.
He won't be on their roster either.
Well,
keep getting them checks, Varejao.
Varejao was basically replaced by one of my favorite players in the league, a gentleman by the name of JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee, on the Warriors team plane, handed out blankets to every individual on the plane.
What?
A blanket. Big size blanket.
What?
On that blanket was a picture of Draymond Green's sleeping face.
What?
Is this an impressive move by JaVale McGee?
It's funny.
It's impressive.
It's funny. It's unique. It's one of those things, if you're a vocal leader of the team and they rely on you for toughness and volatility, it's a way to soften the blow when everybody wants to tease you back and they truly don't know how. So they found that with Draymond, and he clearly sleeps, probably snores, probably have his mouth all open.
Oh, yeah.
Probably falls
Drooling,
to sleep like me before
that,
the plane even take off.
Yep.
So that's a way to get lighthearted fun with him without him getting mad at you.
No, you can't be mad at this one. Like I always said, you can be mean if you're funny, and this was definitely funny. But for me, I'm impressed by it because it takes a certain amount of foresight. Like, if you want, you can have a picture. To get that picture printed out on 30 blankets and then have that shipped to you on the road, that's hard. This takes logistical difficulties, the credit card information and sending the image and getting the image at a high enough detail so you can get it printed out in a blanket. It's just difficult. This is probably the most impressive thing JaVale McGee has done all season.
I think you're overstating it. You know what he did? He picked up the phone and he asked somebody else to do it. You actually think JaVale McGee was researching?
I don't have those people in my life.
You think JaVale McGee was researching what type of blanket should I get?
Yes, I think he was.
What type of cloth should it be?
Yeah, I think he was.
What cut should it be?
I think so.
No, he wasn't doing it.
And do you know what I love about this, too? It's nice to have a blanket on a plane. You know, it's nice to have a nice blanket on the plane. A little blankie.
But here's the thing. Don't be the dude, and I can't front. When I see people like this, I'm judging you. I am judging you. Because I did it to Paul Pierce during the finals. That's why I'm calling him out right now. Don't be the person that's walking through the airport and you're not a kid carrying a blanket and or a pillow. Especially one of those circular neck pillows.
No.
Don't be that person. I am judging you.
No. You cannot bring a pillow from home. If you are over 12 years old, you cannot bring a pillow from home. You just can't.
What?
And then Paul had the nerve to get a crook in his neck.
He had the circular pillow. Can we just talk about the circular pillow for a second? Have you ever tried one?
No.
Extremely uncomfortable.
It's like a neck brace.
Yeah, it's extremely uncomfortable. That I don't know who in the world decided that was going to be a premier pillow for being seated. I'll take a regular pillow over the circular pillow any day of the week. I hate those circular pillows. And they're like $50 when you buy them at the airport. I'm so upset about the circular pillows. I can't go on. Wizards played the Lakers in Washington. While Nick Young was on the free throw line, the PA system played Iggy Azalea. Funny or foul?
You can always be funny if you're... You can always be mean if you're...
You can always be mean if you're funny.
That's funny.
Do you think Nick Young finds it funny?
Of course he does.
I think he does too.
He does.
I don't think Nick Young's been mad in like 10 years.
He has a silly personality anyway, and I say that with affection because that's just how he goes about his day.
It's likable.
And also, for him, he's going into that phase of trying to be a veteran. You remember, there was a time when he and JaVale McGee were playing in Washington, and we just looked to their team for bloopers. Mm-hmm. Nick Young, and I don't know how this happened, is going to be in a three-point contest during All-Star Weekend.
Wait, what?
What?
And here's why. This goes back to my point.
Comic relief?
It's not about his statistics. It's about the jersey that he's wearing.
Purple and gold.
And this is why I'm with John Wall and Bradley Beal, because we are trying to establish a culture here. We're playing some of the best basketball in the league.
You're saying that because John Wall and Bradley Beal were upset after the game because the home crowd was cheering for the Lakers.
And this is why I make this distinction between a brand. While the Lakers haven't made the playoffs in the last 4 or 5 years, you're going to see them on as many primetime games as anybody else.
Yep.
When you look at the Forbes list, they're going to be right up there.
Still doesn't nothing move but the money.
It's a brand. So it's one thing, and this is how you learn where your brand has staying power. This is why you're like, we about to hire Magic. Jim Buss, you know what? Your days may be numbered after all. This is why you can do that. It's not like they have Kobe Bryant on the team and fans are cheering for the Lakers. Mm-hmm. They're cheering for this group of Lakers who haven't accomplished anything. So you're clearly cheering for the uniform in our stadium and not for us, and we're way better than them.
And we're hot right now.
So I appreciate that they spoke up about it. And also, this can start what's considered a culture change amongst their fans, rooting for a team that hopes to become legit in the Eastern Conference.
Jahlil Okafor is going to be traded. Like, he barely plays. Nerlens Noel and Joel Embiid have established themselves as sort of the two big men that are going to propel the Sixers forward. Jahlil Okafor, odd man out. They'd be smart to trade him. He does have value on another team. The Bulls are interesting in acquiring the 76ers Jahlil Okafor. Do you think that would be smart?
I think that's realistic. And what you get in return is going to be interesting because the Bulls have drafted some really good young players. They just haven't become all-star level players that are also on rookie deals. McDermott,
Snell,
Portis,
Mirotic,
Valentine. So that makes sense for a team that could use some low post scoring. And Jahlil Okafor has what it takes to be a 15-plus point scorer if you feed him the ball down low. Now, each player has strengths and weaknesses. He's not going to be a big-time rebounder or shot blocker or defender. But on that left side of the block, he can make some work. He can do some work.
So we all heard about the spy in the locker room that Jimmy Butler was warning all those young teammates about. Now Rip Hamilton has come out and said that, in 2011, I was also warned about Randy Brown, the assistant coach, being a spy in the locker room. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. We broke that down yesterday. Big shot Rip Hamilton, who will have his number retired by the Detroit Pistons this season. Well-deserved. They should do Grant Hills as well. That's another subject for another day.
Yep.
But Rip Hamilton is basically referring to something I said yesterday. If you look at any coaching staff, there's going to be a holdover. Now, why do you think one coaching staff gets fired and one coach gets kept? That means he has a relationship with management or ownership. And because of that relationship, is he going to protect the coach and or the players that represent a revolving door, or management and or ownership who could probably have those jobs for a really long time and the owner can keep the team forever?
Jalen, I have an idea. You know when they retire Rip's jersey in Detroit, they have like a banner. At the bottom of the banner, just dangling off of it, I want the mask. Don't you want that? Wouldn't that be nice just to have the mask dangling off the bottom of the banner to be there forever?
No, that's doing too much.
No, that's perfect.
Now, if he had a statue, then you give him a mask. But not on the banner. That's cheesy.
First of all, Jalen,
you know what? That was one of your worst ideas. That was one of your worst ideas.
You know what? One of your worst ideas was giving Rip Hamilton a statue. Okay, you gave him a statue. You gave Rip Hamilton a statue in Detroit. Your senior statue analyst position has been revoked by the Disney company and the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
You know what?
I'm hereby revoking your status as the senior statue correspondent for suggesting that Rip Hamilton should have a statue outside
David Jacoby,
in Detroit.
That was a corny idea to say that Rip Hamilton should have a mask hanging from a cloth banner.
That's your opinion.
Okay.
That's your opinion. I think that would be really. I really like that.
Especially when
nice
there are other
gesture.
banners hanging up like Isaiah Thomas.
If he didn't wear a
Joe
mask.
Dumars.
If he wore a mask, we could put
Vinny
a mask on his
Johnson.
too. I thought this is a great
It doesn't
idea.
fit
I like this
Dave
idea more and
Bing.
more the more you explain it,
Okay,
actually. It's
that's
a good
one.
idea.
That's one. Two, I said the only way you could fit the mask into the Rip scenario is if he had a statue. Of course, I know he's not getting a statue. Isaiah Thomas should get a statue when the team moves to Detroit. I never said that Rip Hamilton deserved one.
What would Isaiah Thomas's statue look like?
The shorts will be small.
Sure would.
There are a lot of different images of Isaiah. I like the one where he's holding the basketball and the championship trophy. He has on his Pistons garb and a cigar in his mouth. I love that picture.
That works. Because one of the iconic images is when he does the spin in the circle with the ball tucked in like a football, but that doesn't translate to statue. Head facing down. I can't believe you said Rip Hamilton should have a statue. I can't believe you said that. Jalen Rose, some details about the rookie program are coming out in the NBA. Some unsavory things that happen during those 4 days that rookies are required to attend. We're learning that the NBA will hire actresses to work the hotel lobby the night before the rookie symposium starts.
What?
Flirt with the gentlemen and make plans for later in the week. Only do they find out the next day that those were actually actresses. Is this type of entrapment fair to put rookies through?
This is an entrapment.
That's entrapment. That is classic entrapment.
You know why it's not entrapment? Because we know about it.
Jalen.
How is it entrapment if we know about it?
Jalen. That's really what you're going with?
Correct.
You think that rookies, so you think that Lonzo Ball next year is going to be in the hotel lobby and some young lady's going to come up and talk to him. He's going to be like, I saw this on Jalen and Jacoby. This is fake. You think that's what's going to happen?
I think the agent, the support group, the college coach, the high school coach, so many people in your life, it's public information that they're going to be actresses in the lobby. Of course they're going to know before they get there.
You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the regular girl who just wanted to go up to a guy and start a conversation and then got dissed real quick because they thought that she was an actress. Poor girl. Now I'm sad. Jalen Rose, the Super Bowl is upon us. All of the hype is over. All of that gets pushed to the side. As we prepare for kickoff at 6:30 Eastern on Sunday, there are a lot of storylines swirling around the news media. We need you to tell us whether they are something or nothing. Are you ready?
Sure.
The Atlanta mayor has ordered that bars can stay open extra late on Sunday night. Normally they close at midnight. The mayor has said, you know what? Super Bowl Sunday, y'all can stay open until 2:30 in the morning. Something or nothing.
It's definitely something because, number one, it's a smart move just for business. Mm-hmm. Two, it heightens the level of enthusiasm for a city like Atlanta who has multiple professional sports teams, yet collectively only have one championship, the Braves. Also, when these big games happen, remember, both teams have to prepare for the victory. Each city's planning a parade.
I love that aspect.
Each team ordered hats. Each team ordered shirts. The losing team, they just ship them overseas to less fortunate people, and you never truly see them. Mm-hmm. They don't throw them in the garbage. And then afterwards, you always see the shirt online where they like, oh, they thought they was going to win. They was preparing to win, and they lost. Well, you have to prepare for these things. This is another thing that falls into that vein. Preparing for a celebration if his team wins during that peak hour.
It's also a good move by the mayor because it's kind of like breaking up with a girl before she breaks up with you because you know the game is going to end right around 10:30, right? So you know that those bars are not going to close at midnight. So instead of having people break the rules, you just change the rules knowing that people will break the rules if the Falcons win.
Atlanta has a terrific mayor, by the way. I spent a lot of time there and look at how transient the city has become. Look no further than their airport.
You know I'm a die easy Patriots fan. And this weekend I turned into a diehard Patriots fan. There's something about Tom Brady I find very concerning.
So when a team makes it to the Super Bowl, you go from die easy to die hard.
That's how it works. That's how it works when you are a bandwagon fan.
This is why New Kids on the Block ain't getting featured on this program.
That really hurts my feelings, Jalen. I'm being dead serious.
We gave you Fred Durst.
That was a good day. There's something about Tom Brady, as a now die-hard Patriots fan, I find very concerning. You know how all quarterbacks use that armband with all the different plays on it and everything? Well, there's an image of Tom Brady's armband. It says toes, bend knees. He put an apostrophe between the E and the S on both toes and knees.
What?
His armband is littered with unnecessary apostrophes.
What?
This is very concerning as a Patriots fan. Is this something or nothing?
It may concern you as a Patriots fan. It concerns me as a fellow Michigan alum.
I know.
I'm like,
what's that say about that Michigan University education? I mean, apostrophes, like you learned that in second grade. This isn't like the royal comma. Like this is no debate about how you use apostrophes. Another thing I don't like about this, and you know what? Maybe the apostrophes are just there to throw us off. I don't need my armband to remind me that I have body parts below my waist. It doesn't say like stay on your toes. It just says toes. Bend knees. Like, it's just, I always thought that he was on some level of like cyborg football intelligence that he wouldn't need a reminder to bend his knees.
Now, that part I disagree with you. When you do something that requires repetition, there are certain constant reminders you have to tell yourself.
Like, I have toes. That's one of them. I have toes.
No. When you say when he says toes, you sound like a person that hasn't been in the pocket throwing a football. For him,
that's crazy.
He wants to make sure he's on his toes as he releases the ball. That's something that's prevalent to whether he's accurate or not. So it's no different than somebody at the free throw line. What do? You have a routine. There are things you probably say to yourself in your head. There's the exact same thing you do each time. If I'm on the weak side and I see a player on the strong side getting doubled and I know the ball is coming to me, I'm telling myself in my head, straight up, straight down, follow through. I'll probably say that 3 or 4 times as the ball on the way. So I agree with that part of it. But the apostrophes, I got to reach out to the university. And I'm a donor. I have a scholarship endowment there.
They're handwritten,
I have
too.
students currently enrolled there.
How do you not know where to put it? Look, sometimes it gets tricky, like keeping up with the Joneses' house or something. Oh, the Joneses' house. It gets a little tricky. Where do I put the apostrophe? That, I guess, is a little tricky, but come on, Tom. It just says toes. There's no apostrophe in the word toes.
Nope.
But the great thing about him is he always has football to fall back on.
Yep.
And he can fall back on all of his sponsorship money. This was hip to me by a young lady on Twitter named Meredith Breedlove. Great name. Great woman, because she showed this to me. There's an image from one of Tom Brady's Super Bowl commercials. In this image, he is taking a pancake and flipping it over using the pan. First of all, no one does that, okay? No one does that. Second of all, in that image, in his kitchen, next to the pancake, chopped up strawberries.
Oh, we got to investigate.
Man said he has never tried strawberries in his life, yet his kitchen is littered with strawberries.
You lying. Why you always lying?
Something or nothing?
Nothing.
What?
What?
He did about as much preparation for that commercial as I do for this show. Somebody told him what to wear or what not to wear, what time to be there, and where to stand. He wouldn't have cared if it was apples, bananas, any of that. And it's prop food, so he's not eating it.
If I had a personal brand that was built on my crazy diet and my crazy diet didn't include strawberries, they wouldn't be right next to me in the Super Bowl commercial when the entire world is watching.
Nope.
Come on,
it does
Tom.
not matter if you're not going to eat them.
You know why? He was too worried about his hair. That's what it was.
I can relate.
He was too worried about his hair.
Your hair looks nice today.
And his toes and knees.
You look handsome, Jacoby. I like your haircut.
I always do. Julio Jones says no one in the NFL can cover him one-on-one. Jalen Rose, something or nothing?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
Who's surprised by A, Julio Jones saying this because it's actually accurate, B, by any player that can run a route and catch the football, because that's how you should feel. You line up every receiver in the league and they're going to say this.
Yep.
The mother of Chicago Bears player.
What is Hogan's nickname for the Patriots, who had the same amount of yards as Julio Jones in the previous game? 9 catches, 180 plus, 2 touchdowns. What's his nickname?
Laxbro.
7-Eleven. And he's been a journeyman up until this point of immediate stardom, potentially.
Why is his nickname 7-Eleven?
Because during Hard Knocks, as a member of the Miami Dolphins, since went to the Buffalo Bills before he came to the Patriots, they called him that because allegedly he was always open.
Okay. I have a problem with the name of that store. It is named because it is supposedly open from 7 to 11, yet it is open 24 hours a day. Also, the game show Jeopardy! Another terrible title. Do you know what's got a great title?
Family Feud.
This program, Jalen and Jacoby.
Yep.
It's interesting that the Cavs and Knicks play on the weekend. Think LeBron and Melo are going to have a little meal? Going to break some bread?
No doubt.
You think they're going to have a little conversation
Yes,
about
indeed.
their future?
Why not?
Stay tuned to that. Pay real close attention to LeBron and Carmelo. Do you think they've already have a secret handshake for before warm-ups when he's on the Cavs?
Not yet.
Not yet. How long do you think that takes? One day?
5 minutes with LeBron. He has handshakes with all 14 guys. I
That's
wouldn't
the
be able to
thing.
remember that.
I would cut it off. I'd be like, look, if you don't play over 6 minutes a game, you don't get a handshake. There's a cutoff here. Jalen, as we head into Super Bowl weekend, one of the great things about working at ESPN is they send you a bunch of stats. We've got the stats and info department, and they send me lots of emails with lots of stats on it. The producers of this show send me stats. There's just a lot of stats.
Because we have the best staff in the business. Don't they make us look good?
Sure do. But stats are just facts. I want you to tell me what the stat means. I want you to break it down further. First stat. The team wearing white has won 11 of the last 12 Super Bowls. What does that stat tell you?
Nothing.
Thanks for your analysis. The next stat. Matt Ryan is 20 of 22 on third down in the postseason. That's
Something.
91%.
When you can move the chains in the Super Bowl, that means Tom Brady's on the sideline. Extending drives will be key if the Falcons are able to prevail.
20 of 22 is really impressive.
Yep.
New England's a 3-point favorite over Atlanta. What does that tell you?
Nothing.
Do you know what
When
tells
you're
me?
putting on your uniform, you don't care if you're the favorite or the underdog. It's the Super Bowl. You got a 50-50 shot.
I think people often mistake being a favorite in Las Vegas and being a favorite in the game. Do you know what that stat tells me? More people are betting on the Patriots than the Falcons. That's how that works. It's a mathematical equation. That's how that line works. It's not a bunch of football experts getting together in a room and saying, I think the Patriots will win by 3. That's how it starts. But then the market moves the line. So really what that just means to me is more people are betting the Patriots. I think based on the Patriots' success in the last decade, they probably have more Patriot fans. And based on their Super Bowl success, more Patriot fans traveling to Las Vegas to watch the game.
And win, lose, or draw, people can always fall back on, I'm just not going to bet against Brady, Belichick, and Brady.
Yeah. I wouldn't either.
I would.
Defensive points against, sort of the scoring defense. The Patriots have given up the least amount of points in the entire league in the regular season. The Falcons, 27th. What does that stat tell you?
This stat tells me, and this is a telling stat, by the way, it's going to be important for the Falcons because they're going to move the football, that it ends up in pay dirt, not in field goals. That's what it's going to distinguish to me. If they're able to end drives with touchdowns consistently to oppose the second part of that statistic, this is where I think the Patriots are going to miss Gronk because you need all of your weapons the further you advance. And the Falcons have their plethora of weapons
So many.
on the offensive side of the football. So I anticipate putting 30 up on the board before the game even starts. Now, can Edelman, Hogan, Blount, Lewis, Bennett match that firepower with Tom Brady? It's going to be interesting to see, but it does mean something when you lead the league in scoring defense.
The over-under for the game is 59 points. What does that stat tell you?
It's too high.
Yep.
I think so too. I would go under there. I would. When defenses have that much time to prepare, and you've got Bill Belichick and Quinn with 2 weeks to prepare against these offenses, I don't think it's going to be that 45-31 game. I think it's going to be more lower scoring than people
Bill
think.
Belichick has been a football defensive wizard since he was coaching the Giants and Lawrence Taylor. Okay. On the other side, Dan Quinn, a couple of years ago, was just coaching the Legion of Boom.
Exactly. One of the most prominent defenses we've had in a decade.
And he turned this Atlanta team, who's basically 24 years of age and younger, except Dwight Freeney, into a Super Bowl caliber defense where Vic Beasley led the league this season in sacks. So I would be shocked if both teams combine for 59 points. Take the under.
You mentioned the Falcons' youth. Only 4 active Falcons have played in a Super Bowl. All 4 are on defense, and none play a high percentage of snaps. What does that tell you?
Against Tom Brady, that could be a gift and a curse because he has not seen your strengths and weaknesses on the field, but you haven't seen his greatness up close. So that, in theory, has to benefit Tom Brady, especially early in the game.
What about the fact that 4 Falcons have played in the Super Bowl? Just 4 of them know what the Super Bowl experience is like. Couldn't you see that breaking really badly for the Falcons?
I think that matters more in a series than it does in a game.
Ooh, explain, Mr. Rose.
When you look at college football or basketball or the NFL, the most experienced team doesn't win. The team that plays best that day does. In a series, the best team wins. That's when you can truly take advantage of your experience.
Yep.
As the series endures, you're able to make adjustments. Are you physically able to continue to get better as you play more games and find different nuances because situations change from game to game? We only got to play once. You kick off the football and the best team that day is going to win.
A lot of it is turnovers. You can scheme for 2 weeks and you can have it all figured out. But if you throw one pass 6 inches too high and it tips off somebody's fingernails and it goes up in the air and next thing you know it's a run back for a touchdown, you executed the right play. It's just a little bit off and it was a turnover. Those things even themselves out over the course of a 7-game series. They do not in a one-off Super Bowl.
And as somebody who loves Atlanta, spend lots of time there, I'm happy to see them in a Super Bowl because they have more rappers that can represent.
They have a lot more
They
rappers.
got Migos, T.I.,
the list is
Jeezy,
so long.
JD, Future,
Outkast.
Outkast. I get a chance to see all of them come out. For Boston, I haven't seen any of their MCs come out and represent for the team on the national landscape and doing interviews. Are they getting overlooked? You tell me. That's your area.
I bet Benzino is riding with the
That's
Falcons.
family.
I bet he's riding with the Falcons.
No.
I bet he is. He's been in Atlanta for a long time.
No. He's diehard Boston. And each of the individuals that I mentioned, well, 90% of them, I'm fortunate enough I've broken bread with them.
Just bread?
Don't get fired.
Matt Ryan has thrown a passing touchdown to 13 different receivers this season, the most in NFL history. What does that stat tell you?
We spraying the football around the yard. That definitely means something. That's like a Khalees in a milkshake. No doubt, bringing boys to the yard. You got to guard from sideline to sideline. That's the toughest thing to do. You got backs coming out of the backfield. Freeman and Coleman. You got Julio Jones, who I think is one of the top 5 players at any position at the game. You got Sanu. You got so many weapons. This is why, and I probably said this for 2 weeks, Matt Ryan will be this year's MVP.
You are predicting the Falcons will beat the Patriots and Matt Ryan will be the MVP.
Matt Ryan's going to get MVP on Saturday. The Falcons going to win on Sunday. Julio Jones is going to carry that trophy home.
Putting it on wax.
As a Patriots fan, I don't want that to happen, but if that does happen, I'll be excited about all of the after-party videos from all the aforementioned rappers. The after-parties will be better if the Falcons win. Let's be honest. Even I can admit that. The after-parties will be better if the Falcons win, and that's really what's important on Super Bowl weekend, isn't it? Jalen Rose, it's Black History Month.
I'm celebrating. You notice I've been late every day.
Well done. Coincidentally, they have announced a new Mr. Clean. The new Mr. Clean is black.
What?
Question for you. Was the old Mr. Clean black?
I thought so.
No.
He had a hoop earring.
I've done some extensive research. It's unclear. He's a bald man with a hoop earring.
Maybe come from a mixed family.
He's got blue eyes. But I'm glad they have a new Mr. Clean. Just to clarify that. Because I don't see race in my life.
Nope.
You know what I mean? I live in a raceless society. It just never even crosses my mind.
Nope.
So if you were to ask me this morning, is Mr. Clean black? I would be like, I don't know. He's a human. I just see souls. I know how important your first class travel is to you.
Yes.
I know how important this is to you. Do you see how his face just lights up when I bring this up? Don't start complaining. Don't.
Man.
Don't. No.
When you're at
no,
the-
no, Jalen. There's no topic that gets you more excited than this one.
When you're at the airport,
Listen to the privilege
And-
speaking.
you make the sacrifice
This is the 1%.
to purchase a first class ticket. And the attendant says, now boarding first class. Don't you hate the 50 people that's standing in your way like bumper cars, knowing that they shouldn't be standing in the way? You know what should happen?
Jalen, don't do this again.
It should almost part like the Red Sea. First off.
I'm a man of the people. I just wait. I just say,
That's one.
please go ahead. Please go ahead, everybody. I'll go on last. I don't need any room in the
I think
overhead.
it should be a law that two things should happen. One, when you enter the plane, it should be in the middle. Stop letting people enter the front of the plane. Don't even let people in coaches even look up there. Here's why.
You're the worst.
One, because stop leaving your bags up there. Do not put your coat in that closet. Don't do that.
I definitely do that.
And the other thing, you have the nerve to walk from coach 20 rows to use the bathroom in the front and blow up the bathroom and then walk back? And then all of a sudden, us privileged first class travelers now have to walk into the bathroom and see your stains in the toilet?
Not just that, you get the blowback when I close the door.
Yep.
They should make sure, almost like when the pilots have to use the bathroom or take a break.
And they put the cart there.
Yes. By the way, what's that going to do? But that's another subject for another day. That should be how you separate first class and coach. It should be impossible to walk by.
I'm sorry I brought this up. I know this is important to you. A Saudi prince bought dozens of first-class seats so he could travel with his Falcons.
What?
Not the football team playing on Sunday. Actual Falcons.
What?
You've seen the picture. There's about 24 Falcons right there in first class. If you board a plane, Jalen Rose, and you sit in your first class seat and you find yourself surrounded by Falcons, are you excited or upset?
I'm upset. This would be fly if Arthur Blank did that with his private plane going to the Super Bowl.
We don't know he didn't.
But I can't front. And just like I said, and this goes for first class or coach. And not many people walking this earth love infants and kids more than me. Not many people.
But
man, I love sleeping on the plane. I'll fall asleep before the plane takes off. That's my plan, sleep. If I know I gotta sleep, if I know the flight's 4 hours, I'm gonna stay up 4 extra hours, 24 hours prior, so I know that's my plan, sleep. I'm gonna get more out of that day.
you know you have too much money when you have 80 Falcons.
Yep.
You know that you really have a disgusting amount of wealth when you buy first class tickets for your Falcons.
And it's like in your face. I would be definitely disappointed.
Tiger Woods.
Just like when their kids crying on the plane and I'm trying to sleep.
Tiger Woods had back spasms and pulled out of a tournament in Dubai.
Oh, Tiger Woods had a back issue? No.
Is it over?
It's almost like
Yep.
saying Tony Romo got a back injury.
Is it over for Tiger?
It's
Is
never
it over?
over.
Is it over?
Here's why you can't say it's over. They even have a seniors tour in golf. It's never over. And how about this? When they leave their college or high school and go turn pro, nobody says anything. But when a basketball or football player wanted to do it, oh no, we got to change the rules.
CNN announced that Faith Hill was doing an album of duets with the late, great Biggie Smalls.
There's a problem.
What?
They meant Faith Evans.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't have many recorded records with Faith Hill.
Yeah.
Nope.
Are you giving CNN a pass for this one?
I am. There's something that irks me as somebody who got vilified for embracing the hip-hop culture in the early 90s when we decided to wear black shoes and black socks and bald heads and long shorts and listen to so many amazing artists of the time. We were judged by the lyrics that they say. A term that I've come up with to describe scenarios like this are culture vultures.
Oh, culture vultures.
Yes.
I thought it was just a
The
typo.
people that want to pick and choose when they want to embrace the culture, when it looks good for their image, or they act like, oh, I know a couple of rap songs, so I'm representing the hood.
That's what I do.
Or I took a couple of pictures with a couple of rappers, so I'm down for the cause. But you weren't standing in front line when it wasn't cute and it wasn't cool and it wasn't popular.
Nope.
So from that, I'll give CNN a pass because I see a lot of adults doing this every day and they just don't even know it.
There's a term that I've made up for this as well. Mistake. They made a mistake.
How does the mistake happen is the more important thing. This is somebody running their social media page. CNN is truly a credible, one of the most that we
Huge
have.
news organization.
Okay. So that one individual that pressed send, okay, you would think that they would know the difference. That's why I brought up the culture vultures thing. Like, to me, it's not funny when people try to represent hip hop and say a verse like it's cute or cool. That actually makes me mad. So when I see Faith Evans mistaken for Faith Hill, that's why I had to bring the term culture vulture to the carpet.
In Jones County, Mississippi, a family found a rattlesnake climbing out of their toilet. What would you do if you saw a rattlesnake slithering up out of your toilet?
Run.
It's the first thing I'd do. Second thing, I'd run. Here's something I want you to pay attention to when you watch sports. This is why I would run. I remember I was coaching AAU maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
One of the things that irks me is when a player gets injured, say it's his hand or his elbow, and you land on the floor. There's nothing wrong with your feet or your legs. Get up. So since I think I should be able to outrun a snake, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to grab it. I'm not going to attack it. I'm not going to try to tackle it.
Run.
So they called the snake extermination authorities in Jones County, Mississippi.
I didn't know that existed.
They did an investigation, and they found that there was over 24 more rattlesnakes living in the floorboards of their home. If you found out that there were 24 snakes living in your home, would you move?
The same thing I would do when I hear a loud noise in the basement, and you say, get the flashlight, let's go investigate. And I say,
Run.
My new favorite segment is we get to hear the voice of our listeners. We open up our voicemail line.
gotta
You
give
can
them what they
call
want.
98580.
Gotta give them what they need. Hey!
Jalen. 98580 Jalen. Leave us voicemails on the hotline bling. Let's listen to the first voicemail.
Jalen, Jacoby, what's up? It's Dave out of Brooklyn, New York. I got one question for you guys. Can they restructure NBA contracts the way they do NFL contracts? I'm a Knicks fan. Joakim Noah, man. Keep giving the people what they want.
Davey, thanks so much for the call. I love Brooklyn. I'll be back at the Mobadanga run before you know it. But the question is, can you restructure a contract in the NBA the way you can in the NFL?
You cannot. And the dollars allocated to Joakim Noah, 4 years, $70 million.
Wow.
On the outside looking in, everybody knew that was a deal that he was not going to be able to live up to if you were expecting him to be your starting center and give you the type of effort that he was giving the Bulls a couple of years ago when he won Defensive Player of the Year. He, over the last couple of years, dealt with some injury, dealt with some decline in performance, especially on the offensive end. Now you could put a smaller defender on him and he can't take advantage of it, will distort your lineup, kills your spacing. He's not the defender out on the floor and pick and rolls that he used to be. He's still going to give you effort and intensity and intangibles. But once you sign on the dotted line, that is your cash.
That's depressing. Let's move on to the next voicemail.
And also for Brooklyn. He said he was Dave from Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
I really don't want to talk about their squad. They have some good young players. I like seeing Karis LeVert out there balling. Lopez has been consistent getting his numbers. But until they put statues of Big and Jay in front of that building, there's not really much for us to say about them. Especially hovering around the worst records in the league.
Jay doesn't get a statue yet.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm still salty over the Twins thing. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What's up, guys? This is Brady calling from Morristown, Tennessee. Jalen, I got a question for you. I just got around to watching Straight Outta Compton, and it reminded me of the story of NWA getting arrested in Detroit. I wonder if you could share with us, what you remembered about that, maybe like what your parents or your uncles had to say about it, and, what you were doing at that time. Thanks. Keep getting them checks.
Thank you, Brady.
Brady, appreciate the love. Big shout, Tennessee. First off, Brady, I love music. I'm a whack DJ in my spare time.
DJ Motown Clown.
I grew up in the era of breakdancing where we ordered the cardboard offline. We got what looked to be a marble, I guess, plastic mat that said breakers only on it. We taped it on the floor. We went from block to block and battled. We had the Izod zip-ups with the pouches, with the hoodies for those that had good head spins and good back spins. I grew up in that era where I know the difference between the word hip-hop, which people use incorrectly. Yep. It's a lifestyle. What you do around hip-hop is graffiti, breakdance, art, rap with a microphone. So to answer your question, NWA, they help embody that aura of rap as it related to the hostility and the volatility that a lot of people that felt suppressed in the inner cities. And it was initially captured by Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, the best to me, in the message. Yep. I fell in love with rap music when I saw Don't Push Me, 'cause I'm close to the edge. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back. I'm like, I'm living this. This is real. So until that time, just the dark element that came with those that were rapping on the microphone, to me, it wasn't embodied better than when I watched Straight Outta Compton. So I went to all of the concerts. And by the way, with all respect to family members, I definitely didn't go with my uncles. And you definitely don't go with your parents. You go with your homeboys in the neighborhood on the block. In Detroit, we call them your clique or your crew. And we had various people drop us off, possibly piled into a vehicle, and or we caught the Finkel bus there and or back, because I'm from the Northwest side. Multiple tours that I remember. The Nitro Tour, led by LL Cool J. Raising Hell Tour with Run DMC, Slick Rick coming out with the big ruler's chair, Big Daddy Kane, Houdini, Public Enemy, watching the S1W step. And then finally, two people came. Hammer came. They put me in the mix video. For those that don't know, those are the years that the Pistons won the championship. And what song did we adopt? You Can't Touch This. And the other group that I was dying to finally see came. NWA. They're at Joe Louis Arena, and we are in the building. And all of a sudden, a firecracker goes off. And everybody disperses, including the artists. Concert's over. Everybody's not happy. I'm not going to admit to throwing things. I wouldn't do such a thing.
Yes, you would.
But there were a lot of people that were upset spending their hard-earned money, taking their time and energy to go to a concert. And I'm not proud to say this. Too young in life, we were exposed to the difference between a firecracker and a gunshot. So we like, what y'all doing?
guys, come back.
What y'all doing? We just playing. And the undercurrent permeated throughout the building that it was something that was led by the police based on that actual conversation that took place in the movie about the song Screw the Police. If it got performed, then there would be an issue with the concert. So that transpired. They did the record. The firecracker transpired, an M80, and allegedly, I love the law enforcement. I love so many public officials that sacrifice their time, and military, fire, teachers. I'm a founder of a charter school. But with that being said, allegedly, it was done by a member of the police department in order to disperse the concert as a punishment for singing that record, Screw the Police.
Do you believe the police set off that firecracker?
I plead the fifth.
Did you throw anything in the crowd?
I wouldn't do such a thing. I don't remember.
What did you throw?
I don't remember.
I believe that you don't remember what you threw. But I definitely think you threw something.
So let me just tell you guys something.
You brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
Let me tell you youngsters something. Put your ear to the speaker. Turn your TV up a little.
Old man Jalen's here.
You must learn.
Security for public events has changed a lot. The way you guys walk through the airport and you can't carry a water bottle and you basically have to get naked and then walk through multiple security measures to actually go through the airport, it wasn't always like that. I'm old enough to remember you could actually smoke cigarettes on the airplane.
What?
Also, when you went to a concert, man, that halfway pat down, it's like going to a movie. You taking everything with you. BYOB, whatever you want to eat, all of that. So, of course, there were things to throw. But I wouldn't do such a thing.
You would never do that, right?
Nope.
What do we do in this show, Mr. Rose?
You know what? It's always a good day if you have a green drink.
This question comes from Boss Reeves. What is the single most important thing the Falcons have to do to beat the Patriots?
Limit turnovers. In NFL games, that's the key. The team that wins the turnover battle by +2 wins 75% of the time.
Everyone listens to the Levitard Show knows why I asked that question that way.
Big shout, Dan. What up, though, Poppy? Holla at your boy, Bomani. What up, Stu Gotts? Which show? Dan winning. I'm named two different shows.
He's got a lot of shows. Yeah, he's on all the shows. Ryan Kelly wants to know your thoughts on the new Big Sean album.
I have to study it. Big Sean is family. I'm glad you reminded me that during the break, I have to tweet support to my little brother who's single. Bounce back, certified gold already. That's how we do it in the D.
I got the moves.
I'm so happy for him.
Jay Wiley wants to know, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, or Hooters for a Super Bowl party?
Well, Wingstop don't allow you to sit in and enjoy the festivities.
So that's off.
That's off.
That's out.
Nope.
What were the other? Buffalo Wild Wings?
Buffalo Wild Wings and Hooters.
Buffalo Wild Wings, if you may be inviting some women or kids, but if it's just with the fellas, Hooters.
Go Hooters. Can I make a confession about Hooters?
You don't like the wings?
No.
Nope.
Even though I see you inhale them with 2 hands consistently.
Here's my confession about Hooters. Is it could be Game 7 of the NBA Finals in the last 5 minutes, and I will still be watching that stupid Hooters pageant screen that they have. Like, I don't know why. My eye just goes there. I'm just like, what am I doing? There's a very important basketball game on right now that I need to pay attention to.
I can't wait to clip that for Joy.
So it's late in the show. She's not listening now.
Nope.
You notice you're not starting to say that every show, which means she's going to start listening to that portion of the show.
She doesn't like us that much. James Brown wants to know.
Brand new funk.
Who gets more yards? Blunt and Lewis or Freeman and Coleman?
Freeman and Coleman, because I'm acknowledging that they're going to be dual threats, each of them.
Who gets more rushing yards? I'm going to change this question a little bit, make it trickier.
Same answer.
I think the same answer.
Now, here's what's going to happen.
Okay, tell us, Mr.
If
Rose.
the Patriots are going to win, this is what they're going to try to do. So be smart around your friends at the Super Bowl party. Everybody's going to show up and expect to see Tom Brady air it out 50 times. And you know what he's going to do? He'll turn around and hand the football off to LeGarrette Blount at least 20 times.
Really?
Yes.
20 LeGarrette Blount runs. I'm going to take the under on that one, Mr. Rose.
Yep.
Because whether the run is successful or not, you want to try to pound a smaller Falcons defense that flies to the football. And you know what else you want to do? You want to keep that Falcons offense off the field.
Good point.
And that's what I think they're going to try to do.
Next question is from Anthony. If Matty Ice has a huge game and wins, where would you rank him among NFL quarterbacks going into next season?
After Matt Ryan is awarded the MVP on Saturday, and if potentially his team wins the Super Bowl on Sunday, he still won't be, in my opinion, amongst what I consider the elite quarterbacks.
What?
Because there's just a different level that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers has than everybody else.
You just upset Reggie.
So, Reggie, there are a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that have Super Bowls. There are a couple more that have Super Bowls and regular season MVPs who not necessarily are considered the best.
Can we do an exercise that will show something?
Sure.
Just off the top of your head, not holding you to it, just name the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
I'm going to name the top 2.
Just please, just do this exercise with me.
No, here's the exercise.
No, do the exercise.
Just like in the NBA, the top 2 teams are the Warriors and the Cavs.
Okay.
Any team that plays either one of those in the conference finals, guess what they're going to do? Celebrate the season.
Here's the point I was trying to
Except the Spurs.
make. If
You know what?
would've-
Let Reg come in here and do the show.
No.
He giving paragraphs in my ear.
If you had this question a year ago, do you know what I would have said? Cam Newton is the best quarterback in the NFL. A year ago, I would have said that. Remember how the year that the Panthers had, he was the MVP, dual threat, changing the league and changing everything. And here we are a year later, and I don't think that you would have named Cam Newton in your top 5 quarterbacks.
There's levels to this, as I continue to stress, just like I said in the NBA. So there's a Tom Brady and an Aaron Rodgers level. That's the elite. Okay, period.
Blake Bortles isn't in there?
Now, when you open it up to the rest of the league,
Brock Osweiler?
you'll mention Big Ben, Drew Brees.
Can we get Cam in there? Can we get Matt Ryan in there?
In those 2.
Okay.
They're on a different level. To me, the elite quarterbacks is 4 of them. And then you have a bunch of players that are vying to get into that level. You have players like Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Joe Flacco. All of these players can hopefully ascend to that level, but the elite are Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, then Drew Brees, and Big Ben. And then you have a cluster of quarterbacks that have probably won MVPs, may have won Super Bowls, but haven't shown the consistency of the top 4 guys.
One last question. This is interesting. It comes from Russ, whose handle is Furious Styles. Somebody tells me that he listens to the show. Big shout to you, Russ. My birthday is on Super Bowl Sunday this year. How should I celebrate?
I've been there. Before the bye weeks were instituted, they used to fall during the weekend of my birthday or on the day, January 30th. And what you do is now turn your birthday into somebody else's Super Bowl party.
No. Here's what you do. Can I do it? Here's what you do. You celebrate Saturday night hard. Because the Super Bowl, your birthday is Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone's focus is the Super Bowl. So you turn Saturday into your birthday.
But what happens on your birthday is not on the same day each year.
Jalen.
So therefore, as someone whose birthday actually falls on Super Bowl weekend, you have 2 celebrations. Your birthday, whether it's before or after the game, and somebody else's Super Bowl party that are your friends. You know there's going to be drinks. You know there's going to be food. And then they'll bring you a cake, and all of a sudden that becomes your birthday party that you don't have to pay for or clean up.
Well, that's what you should do. Russ Furious Styles.
Yep.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening on ESPN Radio, for watching on ESPN2 and ESPN News, and subscribing to the Jalen and Jacoby podcast.
You're far too kind.
We give the people what they need. We give the people